Welcome everybody to the Watchlist, your weekly virtual TV guide right here on the Latin Nerds Network. Ready to talk about all the shows that get released on streaming, and of course, at the end of the show, letting you know what's coming out next, so you too can create your very own Watchlist. Joining me, as always, ready to give his recommendations, live from Houston, is Señor Jaime, aka Chewy. What it is?
What it was?
What it shall be. Chewy, who's very excited, got Comic Con coming up, of which Chewy be the only one there apparently, because no one else is going to Comic Con. Nobody.
Amazon's gonna be there.
Oh, Amazon. Okay, well, I stand corrected.
Dude, come on. Maybe I don't know. Who knows?
Listen, I think Netflix is not going to be there. We know
No
Marvel's not going to
Netflix,
be
no
there.
Sony, no Marvel, no Lucasfilm, or no Disney. Period. I should say.
Right? Yeah.
They're all together.
Fair enough.
Peacock is a maybe. Amazon, yeah, they're sponsored, so they're there. But no Netflix, not even a booth for Netflix. Like, God bless, man.
Nothing.
No Nintendo. They've opted out for whatever reason. I'm like, Jesus Christ, man. No sideshow. No sideshow.
That's right. Who aren't surprised because Comic Con started off just as pure comics and action figures and collectibles. But yeah, so it's gonna be you and a couple 100,000 nerds just twiddling the thumbs, just whatever.
Hey, Funko baby, yeah, they're gonna be.
Yeah,
Funko Bill is back.
So let's start out, Chewy. It was actually a very good week, a big week.
No, it's an excellent week.
So we'll jump into all this stuff. A lot of goodies to discuss. There is an interesting piece of news here. We have it's a rare thing we do this, but we have a resurrection to talk about. Resurrection.
Yes, a certain biblical figure is coming back.
That's right, which is very fitting to have a resurrection about this show. Warrior Nun, of course, with angels, demons, and not demons, Antichrist,
devils, yeah, demons, devils,
right, etc.
Whatever.
So no show is fitting of a resurrection more than Warrior Nun. Not that I was a huge fan of the show. It was I guess, but I guess the showrunner came out the other day and said that obviously the show was canceled by Netflix's first two seasons, and now the producer, showrunner, whatever, talked about it's coming back. I know there was a big surge of the fan base and writing in, etc., begging the show to come back, whatever, to each their own. And he confirmed.
Look, in all fairness, season 2 was a vast improvement over season 1, so it's trending in the right direction.
You're fine if you're gonna go that way. Sure, I didn't hate the show; I just thought it was okay.
Well, I know you didn't like the show, but you had issues with season 1 versus season 2.
Correct, right?
Which was better.
Which is better.
So what? It's not like it got worse.
No, it didn't.
And you're right. I liked it anyway, regardless.
I guess you said it's coming back. It's not coming back through Netflix, so it's gonna be another service. We don't know which one it is. It hasn't said that yet. That's coming soon. Maybe Streamberry will pick it up. Streamberry's coming up big ever since Black Mirror, so maybe they'll pick up that show, and why not?
I was like, who?
Any Black Mirror fans know what I'm saying here. But who knows who's going to pick it up? Someone's picking it up, obviously, and I guess I'll catch it.
All I gotta say is the real mental is awful.
Just saying that. But either way, so that's coming back. So you're a fan of that show. Good for you guys. We'll watch it, of course. But let's get started with the show that we know is currently on.
Well, let's talk about one that just finished before we get into the new stuff.
Which I am actually.
Oh, okay, all right, okay. Well, go ahead then.
What does it say page here?
Just sure.
Down.
All right.
Let the driver take you to the destination. Don't be the backseat driver. I know where I'm going with it.
Dude, I called the Uber to take me where I want to go, dude. You don't decide. I tell you where I'm going.
Maps. I know where I'm going. So where we're going to go to Apple Plus to start.
1-star rating, no tip.
I got 1 star for you. Silo is the show on Apple Plus.
I was thinking of another show that finished, but yes, that's one of them also.
That's the one that I was thinking that I want to talk. We can bring Miguel up in a second.
Yeah.
But we got to talk about Silo, of course. And it gets 10 episode run, of course, based off a science fiction property. Novel, whatever.
They're called the Wool series.
There you go. So this one, Silo, of course, is Rebecca Ferguson, who you will see soon. You should be seeing soon in Mission Impossible. She is I guess it's a futuristic, post-apocalyptic world, right?
We're not getting much, but the assumption is it's post-apocalyptic Earth somewhere in the future.
Right. It's above ground. It's uninhabitable. So now everyone seems to be living in this silo, which is built underground. About 10,000 individuals, all self-sustaining.
Plus or minus, yeah.
Yeah, no one really knows how they got there and why and all that, and there's a mystery behind that. What's being hidden from the, from the public, and Rebecca
Mm-hmm.
Ferguson finds herself under investigation. They're trying to figure out, hey, what's going on here? Why are we here? What's going on? The outside, is it really what it seems to be or not? And that's kind of the basis of the show. We talked about the first 3 episodes, or a couple episodes when it dropped. I really liked it. I know you're a fan because you're familiar with the source material.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta say, man, it's really good, man. This is a really good show. I really enjoyed it. My wife, she started watching. She's like, yeah, it's a little slow, and it's a slow show, to be fair. But by the third episode, she really got into it. It's like, oh man, Silo today. It's like Silo today, baby. So she got into it. Really good, very intriguing, great mystery. I like the way it ended because it really like, oh wow, this was going on in a way, right? To some degree,
Mm-hmm.
I like that. I'm sure you. I'm guessing what's going on. You will know more than I, but I don't want to spoil
Mm-hmm.
anything. I don't want to be spoiled. But very, very well done. Excellent show. Apple Plus. I think it's borderline must watch. Chew, your thoughts.
No, I think it's not. I think it's beyond borderline must watch. I think it is much watch
Fair
for
enough.
an Apple show, sci-fi type genre, mystery thriller show. I mean, it was excellent right from the start and all the way through. I mean, with great performances, up and down. Common did a great job.
Common. Tim Robinson as well.
Terry Robbins as well as Bernard. I mean, great performances. You know what was going on, who was good, who was bad, what was the big secret, and obviously we got a good payoff at the end
Hmm.
of season one. Not the full story still,
Of
but
course.
definitely a big piece of what the mystery is. Still don't know the why and what's going on, but I mean, should we spoil? Should we say something?
No, no, no spoilers. No spoilers.
Okay. Well, I mean, I got the very last shot was very impactful in its breadth of showing you what was going on. Not so much what was true, what was not true, but what was the
Right.
bigger piece of the puzzle. But overall, yeah, definitely much more. The built and the pace was great. It's slow is deserved when you need to slow down and
Hmm.
tell the story properly, right? Not just for the fact of stretching it to 10 episodes. I think that this was
No,
the
no,
sweet spot of
exactly.
getting to the
Yeah.
story, giving us good flashbacks to expand, give us the flashbacks for exposition, and then moving the story along to try to uncover what the mystery was. And so, excellent, definitely much watch.
Yeah.
Renewed for season two,
Of
obviously, and
course.
hopefully beyond.
Yeah, I hope so, man. We're really excited about that one. It's a very good show. I was very happy about that. What's the other? If you don't mind, what the other one was that?
Dude, the bear, baby. Come
Oh, the
on.
bear. You're right. Correct. I forgot because I saw this came out a couple weeks ago. But yeah, the bear on Hulu. 2 seasons. The season obviously just released 10 episodes. Season two. But a chef whose brothers died and he's come back home to kind of run the business who he left him to. And a very dysfunctional family to say
Oh
least.
my God. That Christmas episode.
There's a Chris episode
Holy
which is this
cow.
Jamie Lee Curtis shows up. It's fantastic.
What, Jamie Lee Curtis, Bob
Bob
Odenkirk. We have
Odenkirk.
another
Yeah.
John Bernthal cameo again.
Yeah.
The guy from SNL, that comedian. I mean,
Yeah. I
and
forgot his
Sarah
name.
Paul.
Yeah.
I mean, they brought in like all the big guns for that episode.
Yeah, a very excellent episode, and they're struggling to maintain because obviously the restaurant wasn't very well run, so they're struggling to kind of get it better, transforming it back into something that he's more used to. The bear, of course, is the main
Yeah,
guy.
season one
Yeah.
was trying to hold things together, right, with
Mm-hmm.
the business, and obviously it was a disaster. Season two was the rebuilding, essentially, from the ground up, as it turned out. And I mean, this is such a good. It's such a
Very good
shame that
show.
it's only
Yeah.
half an hour,
Yeah.
because it leaves you wanting more. But this is, it has a dirty look to it, but for a reason, because you're trying to bring it in from literally a hole in the wall, very popular place, to trying to bring it to something that's outstanding, that's special, and how they show that evolution of not only the characters, but then when we get to the end.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we have the full background dysfunctional family story. That was so cringeworthy to watch.
I mean, he himself, the main character, is dysfunctional. He's just got
You,
issues, right?
well, and you see why. I
Yeah,
mean,
of
that's with the
course, you
mom, the
understand how.
family. I
Yeah,
mean, it's like, I mean, they were talking about mass chaos at a Christmas dinner. Good lord.
it was just Then that was when I get the episode was an hour long. I'm watching. I'm like, this is taking long. And that in the back, I've been saying, and I pulled up the thing and checked the time. I'm
Mm,
like, oh, an hour, very rare.
yeah.
Just excellent. I love the show. The
No,
episode with the
and I do want to bring up the episode. First, like the fork episode, which is Richie's episode,
right. I was gonna say the
right?
one with the cousin or his cousin,
Yes,
quote
yeah,
unquote.
yeah.
Excellent episode. Yeah,
Oh
absolutely.
yes,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean
yeah.
showing his revolution, really.
Mm-hmm.
To what he was to finally understanding what it's all about.
Yeah,
But I want to say something about the very last episode where we've seen a lot of shows, some good, some bad, that have made use of the one shot.
hmm,
Most recently Extraction with a 21-minute fight.
sure.
Basically chase fight, which was like you're like I need to breathe. It was so good. But we've seen it in Mr. Robot. We've seen some other shows where they bring it in and they make best use of it because they're driving the action. They're trying to show first person perspective of what's going on, and they did. And you wouldn't think in this type of show, what's Chuck going to do, right? I mean, it just showed what the organized chaos is of running a kitchen, running a restaurant, and
Yeah.
even using that made it sound exciting. They were going back and forth, front to back, all the mess with the fridge, you get stuck in there, taking your orders, screwing things up. I mean, it was just like organized chaos. But then you realize this is a one shot because you're following the camera, you're following the characters, you're switching characters and conversations going from one to the other, and that was like it made like an action show essentially. And I thought like great
Yeah,
use
you
of the
get a
one
good,
shot.
yeah, good understanding of what a restaurant does behind the scenes that you have no
Please,
idea. It's just
yeah,
chaos, but it's an
mhm.
organized chaos. I put it that way.
Yes.
But excellent show. Right with that again. Hulu, finishes 2 season run. Obviously, what I assume is coming back for a third season. But
I
that,
hope
yeah,
so because they
yeah.
left it like I mean,
No,
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
sure it will. Yeah, I think that the show does well for him. So, and I guess a lot of
Mhm.
critically acclaimed stuff. And so, yeah, absolutely. Excellent watch on Hulu. Check that one out. Um, this week, let's get on the shows for this week and all. I always start with the documentaries and all. I don't think there's any movies that came out, at least not good ones anyway. And that's Netflix had an unauthorized documentary, whatever that means. Muscles and Mayhem. This is, of course, when ESPN's got one coming in their 30 for 30 series, if you guys are familiar with that.
Stop, skip this. Watch this one. Skip
Uh,
ATM.
I
Watch
haven't seen
this.
ESPN. I don't know if it's even out yet. But that being said, this one, of course, focusing on the American Gladiators. The popular, kind of a reality athletic sports show. Came out late 89 and ran through mid 90s or whatever the case is. The
Mhm.
famous Gladiators. Nitro and
Mini revival there a
Gemini.
few years ago with The Rock,
Yeah.
I think, right? Or
I think it came. I think it made a
yeah,
comeback or something, but it wasn't the
yeah.
same back then. This is probably one of the first reality shows. Maybe you're wrong. I think it was one of the first reality shows, kind of right, reality-based shows. Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, this
Yeah,
predated a lot of those reality shows.
yeah.
Predated.
This
Well,
predates
I mean, I
like
take
the
that
real
back. Okay,
world
there
and
was
what
the
that.
real world. No,
Yeah.
the real world came first, I think. Right, that
I
started.
don't know. I'm not, but I guess maybe this
No,
competition
no,
show, right?
this might have been. This one started. It's hard to tell because it might have come at the same time, but
Yeah,
it was up there. It was up there.
it's up there. Yeah, but definitely the first of its kind in terms of the competition. Right? We see these shows like Wipeout and Ninja Warrior and all the other stuff we see,
Hmm.
and Netflix just released 100 something whatever show.
Hmm.
This is the Squid Games before Squid Games, kind of. But other way, if you guys might be familiar with this, and I used to love watching, American Gladiators when that came out. I was like, yeah, Malibu, and then there's they go the main, the worst gladiator ever,
Nitro.
all that stuff. So they kind of goes deep dive into what the show was, how it came about. They talked to all the gladiators at the time, most
They
of them
brought
anyway.
all.
They brought everybody
I mean,
back,
they even brought
producers.
back Malibu. You see Malibu, it's like,
Yeah,
wow, what a change! Wow.
yeah. This guy's. Some have aged well, some have. Most of them have aged well, but yeah, these larger life figures and the stuff that went behind the scenes, which is bonkers. What they went through, what they did, and ultimately what happened with the show and its ultimate demise. But yeah, a fascinating look into this. Very entertaining. Even if you're not a fan of or know American Gladiators is, just how it came about and the debauchery, if I say the decadence that is
Well,
American Gladiators.
not so much botchy, but I mean, it was like, I mean, literally, it was like someone's idea,
Mm,
and then they did a pilot. That pilot was garbage.
that's pretty bad.
How
Yeah.
that show got greenlit after that pilot is beyond me. They saw something there,
Hmm.
but you see that versus when you see when it matured to like second, third season, you're like, what a difference, right? But literally, I think one of Gemini made it say like they were just literally learning on the fly how to
Yeah.
make this kind of show, and but they go through the injuries and these guys. I mean, this is real, and they were getting hurt every week or every
Yeah.
show. Man, it was not like I said, the Malibu I think got knocked out at that cannonball head that literally knocked him off the platform and literally cut his head open, and that was it. He was done. No more after
Yeah.
that. People, torn Achilles, fucking up knees, and some of it because safety related to the equipment and or lack thereof.
Yeah.
And so, like I said, they were really just kind of this putting stuff together, trying to figure stuff out how to make it safe for competitors, safe for the gladiators ultimately and stuff. But it was it was so entertaining to
Yeah,
watch
very
this,
entertaining. Yeah, I
man.
think it's five episodes. Very good.
Yes.
I really like this a lot. I was
Mhm.
enjoying it. I was like watching one every morning. Man, it's really good. Just
I'm glad
yeah,
that they brought I mean, literally
yeah.
as they progress the show, you start with the core, but then as they bring in the new seasons and they bring in the other players that came in, right? Like stuff like the Tower
Mhm.
and Laser and some of the guys that brought in the years subsequent from and they brought in really short interviews. Some of them just a couple sentences. Some
Mhm.
a little bit longer. But I mean, everybody got. So when they say unauthorized, I mean, everybody's there. Who's missing?
Yeah, no, I'm not surprised it's unauthorized. I don't know, but whatever it is, it's authorized as far as I'm concerned.
Mhm.
Yeah, very, very cool watch. Even if you're not a fan of the show, it's very cool. It's interesting to see how the show developed and came to be, and so much stuff behind the scenes that like you don't think about. It's like, man, they got screwed in a lot of ways, merchandising and all that stuff, which usually happens. And
Mhm.
this is predated a lot of stuff that is in play now in terms of contracts and all that. So yeah, man, it was a pioneering show. It really was. This show really hit big for a couple of years. It was everywhere. Yes,
Mhm.
you know the figures and the cartoons, and there were guest spots and all kinds of shows, and they became stars, became rock stars, if you will. But very good watch on Netflix. Good for them. This is an absolute winner.
Mhm.
Next one, let's go to Apple Plus again. New show dropping 2 episodes. I think it's going to be 7 episodes total. Nonetheless, we have a show called Hijack, starring the great Idris Elba. In this one, is Hijack. It is what it is, right? So I guess they haven't revealed who he is, some kind of negotiator or expert negotiator, something along those lines. He's flying back from Dubai to London, and lo and behold, the plane gets hijacked. Right, and that's to be the premise. And now he's there trying to kind of toe the line of maybe giving the illusion he's helping the
Oh
hijackers out.
well. Let's preface this. It's being hijacked, but it's being kept secret from everybody for whatever reason. So we
Mhm.
still, after 2 episodes, we're not really sure what's really going on, right?
Right. We
Because
know there's a hijack. We
yeah,
know what's going on, right? There, people have guns taking over the plane. So he's trying to do his best because he just wants to get home, right? And that's his thing. I hope you guys out, just get me back home safe. And it took people in the plane. It seems like he's helping him out, but is he really? Because he's doing things also behind their backs to
mhm.
maybe try to undermine their control and all that. So it's an interesting show. Dropping his first episode. Chew, your thoughts first.
I enjoyed it. I didn't know what to expect. You think hijack? You think like Passenger 57 or tweet dating myself.
Half the Liam Neeson films.
Yeah, exactly.
Uh,
That's what I was about to say.
I don't know.
Even the Jodie Foster one, I can't remember what that one was, but that was a
Oh
pretty
yeah,
good one actually.
flight plan. I think.
Yeah, Flight Plan. No, not Flight Plan. It
No, okay.
was
Well,
no
whatever.
Flight Plan is a Denzel Washington. The plane it
Oh,
goes upside down and then crashes and
never
drunk
mind.
and
Whatever.
yeah,
But I know what you're talking
whatever.
about. Yeah, fair enough.
But yeah, you know what I mean. Which is a pretty actually entertaining one
Mhm.
actually. But you think how do they make this into a series, right? I mean, they take the plane, they take it down, it's over, right?
That was my
Uh,
concern. It should be like a 2 hour movie,
yes,
right? It's like it's a hijacking. We've
yes,
seen it 1,000 times,
yes.
right? So
Yeah, but no, man. So far, very interesting. And I mean, I think we both enjoy Idris Elba, and
I love it.
very,
Yeah, I love
obviously,
Elba. Yeah.
from Luther to even I know you're not gonna like this Hobbs and Shaw. He was a good
Whatever.
villain, dude.
Fair enough. Extraction 2 he was in.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's right. I
Yeah.
forgot about that.
He's on a lot of things,
but
and he's great. I love him, man.
yeah, but so far, I mean, like I said, it's kept me entertained. It's kept me watching more and actually try to figure out what it is that's really going on because it's not a typical hijacking situation.
Hmm.
They're not making demands. They haven't called it in. They're not, I mean, they got the plane, but then they're not even sure what they're doing at this point.
Yeah, it's I like you're right. I'm enjoying it. It's really good, better than I thought. I'm still curious to see kind of write this momentum for full 7 episodes and this kind of
Mm,
premise. I guess there's obviously there's gonna have to be a lot more to it than on the surface right now, which I'm sure there is, right? But yeah, it's very entertaining, man. It's, good tension. I love Elba really carries this. He has to because he's the main guy. He's in almost every scene. He's great. I'm enjoying it. It's good. It's damn, that pilot's the worst. I was getting upset at that guy. Doing what he did for the reasons that come on, bro. Either way. But yeah, good show. Very well done. Very well put together. I'm enjoying it. So I'm looking forward to the next few episodes and hopefully that momentum carries. But it's a good way to start the show, right? Put your
mm,
best foot forward. We don't see a lot of shows do that. Particularly, this only had 2 episodes to do it. I thought it did. This is a good show, a good watch. You guys should check this one out. Again, Apple Plus. 2 episodes currently releasing every Wednesday, if I'm not mistaken.
all right.
Next one up is one I know you didn't see, but called Delete. on Netflix. This was a Thai show. We don't get much of the Thai representation, a fellow from Thailand. So this one here is an interesting premise. We have a couple, going out, each of which is cheating on their prospective significant others behind their backs, and they want to kind of end it off with each of them and stay together and what have you. And one day they come across a device. Looks like it's a phone, kind of. Looks like a phone anyway. Basically, just a camera. And if you take a picture of somebody, it literally deletes them from the face of existence. They disappear right in front of them. So they decide to use the phone to maybe make their significant others disappear, right? And that's how the show begins. And I thought the show would be more about that and all that, but then it turns into something else because things kind of go wrong. Some people know about the phone, they're trying to get it. There's a lot of twists and turns of who has used it and why they're after it, and now one of them has gone missing themselves. I really enjoyed this one. I love the premise, and I thought it would be more like a horror kind of thing. It sounds like a horror film, right? Let's delete somebody with the phone. But it's not. It ends up being more of a murder mystery kind of show. I liked it. A lot of twists and turns. I'm actually enjoying this. I think I've seen 4. I think it's 8 total. 8 total. I've seen 5. Pardon me. Very good. I'm enjoying it. It's actually very well produced. Good concept. They're really carrying that concept with the phone out pretty well as far as who gets their hands on it. I liked it. I'm recommending this one. It's a good, interesting, a good foreign show to watch. If you want something a little bit different, I think this one might be one worth checking out. The next one here, I'm gonna be upfront. This will be The Witcher season 3. One I've enjoyed. Really like the first 2 seasons. Of course, this one basically a fantasy show, right? Yeah, I guess it's a fantasy.
Yeah,
show.
that's completely fantasy. Yeah,
it's fantasy, right? It's just starring Henry Cavill. He's
pretty sure those monsters don't exist. So yes, fantasy.
It depends who you ask. Not kidding. But yeah, Henry Cavill, titular character. He's the Witcher who has got special abilities, and he's out hunting down deep monsters and creatures and stuff like that for hire. And, now there's a mystery behind the girl he needs to protect. Okay, we'll leave it at that. I'm a big fan of the first 2 seasons. I'm enjoying this one. I've enjoyed it a lot, but I haven't started season 3. Not yet.
What?
Only because, and I'll get to that as to why in a minute. But I'll get to it in a minute. I have my reasons. But that being said, I will watch this. I heard it's good, but chewy. I guess listen. By now, if you haven't seen the show, it's not worth getting into season 3 as much, right? I would say this is a show. If you like fantasy as shows, this is one you should be watching on Netflix. But
absolutely, 100%.
Right. And this was a part 1 of 2. We got 5 episodes now. Another 5
episodes. 5 episodes now. 5 episodes
right.
in July.
Yeah, which is something Netflix. We have another show coming up that's going to do the same thing. We'll talk about that in a minute. But yeah, it's an interesting strategy by Netflix. We saw it with Stranger Things. Now taking this approach, which I like. I still would prefer them to go to the weekly run. But this is a good start, taking some of these big shows and okay, let's split them up and let's get the audience talking about it for a month or 2 months, right? As opposed to just a weekend and disappearing, right? So Chewy, I'm sure you started obviously season 3. What I thought so far, just general, keep it simple on this one.
No, man, I like it a lot. I mean, it's one of my favorite shows. Has been since the very beginning. Henry Cavill is great as Geralt of Rivia.
His last season.
Yeah, which unfortunate, but whatever. I hope you're not doing it because of protest. But regardless, very good. Like picks up right at the end of season 2, and trying to protect her, and going from there. And you see some of the similar characters, they're bringing in some new characters. Right, like the great battles, a lot of blood, a lot of gore, a lot of stuff going on. A little twist at the end of episode 2, okay. which I'm like, okay, what is going on here? But I won't spoil it, but we'll see what happens.
Exactly. This one you should be watching. But I always go back. It's season 3. It's a if you enter that fantasy genre, there's no reason not to get into the show. At least give it a shot. It's really good.
Absolutely.
Now the reason why I haven't seen this because the next show.
Oh well, I will spoil one thing. We do get another good performance by Jasper, okay. And I still his musical talents are on display once again. Okay. So season 1 we had to toss a coin to the Witcher, which is great. Downloaded it, right? Have it on my iPhone. Then season 2 we had Witcher Burn, which was amazing. They had another one, I think. Blues one. Yeah. But this one, he had a song in episode, second episode, I believe.
No, I'm
gonna look for it. I'm gonna look for it soon.
Okay. No, I'm gonna start to watch this soon. I just, the reason why is because it's the next show, and that's called Warrior. Season 3. It's just one of my favorite shows. I think it has been ever since we started watching a couple years ago. I think you echo that. A phenomenal show. I love the
Yeah,
show.
I
It's
saw it.
good.
I missed because I had Cinemax at the
Right.
time.
It's originally
And so I
started
admit
Cinemax. Yeah.
to, I heard things about season one, but I was like, I didn't have Cinemax and wasn't going to get it. Then season two, I think at this time, Max was just come on board. They acquired the Cinemax content. Cinemax went away, so they acquired it. So they released season two, but then I think like a couple months later, they put it on HBO Max, and I think HBO Max just put it on there just for filler.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they expected much out of this, even though this was Cinemax's top-rated show. But it was Cinemax, and really, let's be honest, who had Cinemax,
Right.
right?
Exactly. It's
Yeah,
10
so,
people probably did.
but yeah, exactly. So I watched it, and I was like hooked from the very first moment of episode one.
Oh no, absolutely.
This
Yeah.
is an amazing, amazing show. Call it what you want, call it martial arts style or
Yeah.
fighting, but I mean,
That's
it
martial arts,
has,
obviously.
there's definitely the best martial arts on TV we've ever seen, or probably in any medium. I mean, I think it surpasses every movie,
I
every.
wouldn't go that far, but I'm more
I
into.
would,
But I'm
I
more. Into,
would. I'm laying on the gauntlet. It
I'm
is,
more. I'm
dude.
more into that
And
genre than you are. So.
I tell you what, because it's not just about the fight. The fighting is another character within the show.
Mm.
We've seen some good fighting in some movies. Raid has had some good scenes, and some of the I've seen those scenes. The movie's garbage, but the fighting is whatever. I mean, it's great, but it doesn't make up the movie, right? There's more to a movie than just a great fight scene.
Sure, of course.
And I think the fighting just augments the story that they're telling.
I mean,
And
in terms of in terms of the story with the
style,
action, correct.
yes.
Yeah, I'm talking about just the
because
just
it's the whole
at the
whole
fighting and the action
package.
in a vacuum, right? Just what you see, the choreography, which is phenomenal. All that's good. I
Oh,
have
the
seen.
choreography is phenomenal.
No, right. That's what I'm saying. Right. I'm just talking about that.
Okay, but you have a merging of various, because this is based on the writings of Bruce Lee, right? But it's also there's historical component to this, which some of it is accurate, some of it's fictionalized, obviously, some of the characters, but some of the broad stroke events are based on actual history around this time in San Francisco, right, with the immigrants of China,
Yeah, exactly.
and the Irish, and obviously the local population. We have a little bit of Indian, Native American population in there.
Yeah, the struggle. They're trying to no one likes
yes.
the Chinese because they're taking over the jobs, right?
Exactly.
It sounds
So
very relevant to what people talk about now, immigration. Cheap labor,
exactly.
the Irish were getting pushed aside. They didn't like that. They're taking our jobs, et cetera, et cetera.
And the political machinations behind it. So,
Sure.
but the fight is just an element of this. Just kind of brings it to the forefront and drives that story. But and it's a mixing of styles. I mean, you've got Bruce Lee's style, which is be like water, right? He was a hybridization of various martial arts. But you see the different fight styles with the characters, Muay Thai, Kung Fu, Taekwondo. I mean, everything. Different characters have different styles that they bring in. Even the main character Asan, bringing in the nunchucks, right, which had a very Bruce Lee look and feel to when he brought those out. You're like, I'm to the Dragon Bill scene there stuff. But the story is what makes it, kind of brings it all together.
Yeah. Because you have these rival gangs within the Chinatown of
the LZ and the Hop Waves.
Yeah, the positioning for power and the drug trade and all that, and then there's Hassan, the main character, who came to the States just to find his sister, who he finds out is now part of one of the gangs, ends up running the rival gang of which he joined or was forced to join. Right, as an immigrant, he needed work, and some guy found him. Hey, this guy can fight. He's yours.
Boy, can he fight?
Yeah, kind of. And the fight scenes are phenomenal, excellent. Yeah, tied with a great story, right? We talk about that, absolutely. We just talk about the pure fighting. Everything else, the element. I've seen stuff very comparable, better than this. That's not a knock on it, right? Just very comparable. I'm saying. But
I mean, look at this first episode. That first fight scene. When you put that first fight scene and just this episode.
No,
this season.
Yeah, on TV, it's the best. You don't find anything better on TV in terms of just pure martial arts action. The way it's shot,
never,
it's done.
Never.
It wouldn't happen. I challenge someone to please, if there is, let me know so I can go watch it. Absolutely, and I welcome it. But yeah, this show is fantastic. It's phenomenal. Dropping 3 episodes.
If you haven't watched it, go back. This is like very rare we see go back to the beginning.
Yeah.
Go back and watch it.
We don't say it often,
yet?
Right? We don't say it often. But this is one you need to. I mean, not need to, but
if you're gonna watch this, you start from the beginning and jump on.
Yeah, jump on. It's worth it. Again, it's a show where nobody was watching because it was on Cinemax. So I didn't have it. I caught it because it went on HBO and whatever, and all that. And this is going back to why I haven't started The Witcher, because of this, and only has 3 episodes. But I've gone back and I went back to start watching it with my wife. So this will let you know you married the right girl, right? Because went out to dinner with some friends and I got them into the Warrior. And they love the show. And I was telling them, oh, dude, this week we got, season 3 that I got. We know we can't wait. And, the three of us knew we were talking. My wife's like, what is that? I was like, "That's a show I'm watching on HBO Max. It's really good." She hadn't seen, because I watch most shows without her for the most part. Which so I was kind of waiting for her. But she's like, okay, so when we get home, like, the next day, we're just trying to find something new. This is early in the week. I think it was like last Saturday. And she's like, I think we can watch something new. I was like, well, there's stuff coming out this week. I said, look, we're just coming out, which is a big fan. She wants to see Hijack, of course. I just but she's a fan. So scrolling through HBO, and she's like, well, Warrior, look. And, that's not that show you guys talking about? I was like, yeah. And she's like, and she's not big into that kind of genre, to be honest with you. That's why I never introduced her to the show for the most part. She likes good action. She loves John Wick and all that. Who doesn't? But it's not her thing mainly. So I was like, let's watch it. Maybe you like it. So you put it on. She's a streaming slut. That being said, she can't just watch one episode. You got to watch 4 or 5. It's just how it works. But she got hooked. She absolutely loves the show. And I said, every night, we're like, hey, let's put on Witcher. Let's catch up on the Hijack. No, let's go. Let's finish the Warrior. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm saying. But her own choice wanted to see Warrior after she caught the first few episodes, and we're already in less than a week. We're already halfway through season 2. So
you almost caught up. Yeah,
almost caught up. So I went ahead. She doesn't know about it. I told her I wasn't, but I started season 3 because. Come on, man, hello.
They're not waiting.
I'm not gonna wait.
You waited 3 years.
Yeah,
listen, a day longer.
You put a great meal in front of a starving guy and tell him to wait. It's not gonna happen. The man's gotta eat. So, but that's a good show, and that's why I kind of forego Witcher. She wants to see it. We'll watch it. But yeah, she's all in a Warrior, and that's what I'm talking about. This show is great. Anyone who would recommend this show to has loved it. Yeah, must watch it. Top 2 or 3 shows, any genre on TV. Period. As far as I'm concerned. Is that good?
No, and every episode you get action, you get
action,
drama, and
the characters. Hassan's great, and his other friend, I forgot his name.
Which one?
The who takes over the gang when his father goes off.
Exactly.
I forget his name, but and one of the other friends, season 2, this crazy guy is hilarious. Very cool
show.
The Irish guy, the main Irish guy, it's fantastic.
Something you noticed, you probably noticed, but I like how they've committed to. Like some episodes, they'll start one language and they'll switch to complete English. They will talk English, and you kind of forget that they're not talking English or whatnot. Hunt for Red October is one scene where the Captain Connery character starts off talking Russian. All of a sudden he's talking English, and everyone's talking perfect English now. And it's like, okay, sure, whatever. But in this show, they made a point saying, okay, when they're speaking amongst themselves, and in some of the episodes they start talking Chinese, and then they transition to English, right? But it's to indicate that they're still talking Chinese to each other because no one else is around. But when some of the characters that don't speak English start talking to the Americans or the cops, they speak in broken English, right? So it kind of distinct. But when they're talking about when they're talking Chinese amongst themselves because they're comfortable, right? But it's still obviously they're not going to do translation. But like you can see like the Barter character. Right, he speaks English, but then he speaks broken English when the cops come and interrogate him and stuff, and so you kind of see, when you pay attention to those type of details, right? They're not just trying to brush it as far as just make it all English, right? No, they are, but they're not, right? If you understand how the
truth is, the English show, they don't bombard you with subtitles, which people don't like, and I get it, right? So they want to keep it towards very easily consumable. Put it that way, right? Yeah. So they're speaking English, but they're not really speaking English in their world. So very well done. Excellent show. Absolutely love the show. It dropped 3 episodes, season 3, obviously a weekly show. This one should have been Sunday.
Yeah, I know. Still, should have been Sunday night. First, why they drop 3 episodes? Okay, fine. I'm happy, but I mean, maybe because it was such a long time.
Well, between seasons. I think it's a show that's still trying to get an audience. Because I mean, again, it was a big show in Cinemax. I think it really did well on HBO, but it was older show. People don't tend to go back and watch older stuff. There's only 2 or 3 years old, but I'm saying, what's new, right? So, but this is one that is absolutely worth revisiting. This is a show. It's just great. It just shows better than most shows that we can recommend today.
Should be on Sunday nights.
It should have been, but I thought that was my gripe, and it was a legitimate gripe. But it is what it is. So, absolutely must watch that. Last show we'll talk about here today, and of course, 4th and final season of Jack Ryan. Of course, John Krasinski from The Office stars as the titular character. Of course, there's Tom
And
Clancy.
the office.
You know, he's from The Office. It is what it is. Of course, Quiet Place, directing and acting in that. But yeah, this one did the fourth season. Amazon Prime. You know, political thriller kind of thing. You know, we've seen Jack Ryan in movies, but Chris Pine or Harrison Ford or whatever the case, Ben Affleck, Some of Our Fears, and Air Force One, not Air Force One, I forgot, Patriot Games, I think it was called.
Yeah, Patriot Games Hunt for Red October.
October.
Yeah.
I forgot the Chris Pine one, but either way, it's a well-known character. You know, and this is one of those consistent shows on Amazon, right? In its fourth and final season here, it's a good show. I don't think it's great; it's ever reached great heights, but it's good. It's solid. If you're into that political drama, good action, all that, it's a good recommend. I've been enjoying it. I dropped 2 episodes this week, of course, with Michael Pena, a little Latino representation.
Yeah, man. Welcome back from the MCU.
That's right. He's a landmark actor who became the first Latino in big superhero films, right? To the point I was the only one. You know, shame on MCU for that. But I love Michael Pena, that man. He's so good. But yeah, he's back. He's back here playing kind of a double agent kind of role, kind of thing. Very good. I'm enjoying it. I said it's consistent. The show's consistent. It's good, it's solid. I'm not sure the show. If you haven't been watching it, I don't know if I go back and say go watch the other 4 seasons. It's not. This isn't Warrior, right? Like I would say, dude, go back and watch that. This one, I don't know. If you're big into that genre, sure, absolutely, it's a fun watch. It's a good show. Chewy, your thoughts?
No, man. I was surprised. I forgot that Pena was going to be in this season. So I was like, oh, good, nice surprise. But yeah, I mean, because it's solid show, solid show. I think this season. You know, I think previous seasons, you know, maybe what this did make it great because you kind of knew what was going to happen.
Sure.
You knew how this was going to turn out, right? But I think this one is so far is up there. Probably, you know, I'm not gonna say it's the best yet, but let's see.
It's too early to
But
tell. It's too early.
from a story perspective, it's definitely the most unique story that they've told so far. Of the 4 seasons. So let's see where this finishes up.
We'll see how it ends. I hope it ends well. You know, you always want to stick the landing. Even the shows which are solid deserve a good ending. So hopefully this gives us that. So
it's good to see Lord Bolton eating again.
Bolton, that's right. That's right. He was in there as well. But it's a solid show. It's a solid show. But again, I'm not gonna say go back and watch it if you haven't seen it.
No. It's not. I mean, if you want to, yes, please.
I mean, you could do worse than to go back and watch Jack Ryan, no question, right? But again, you really have to be into the genre for me to say, like, if you love this kind of political thriller, yeah, right, it's one of the better shows that we've seen, right? I think in the genre that's lasted this long. We don't see many of these shows last 4 seasons, so it's a good show. I enjoyed it. So that's this week. A lot of good stuff. Listen, guys, again, Warrior. I'm gonna sing his praises until this 3rd season ends. We better get a 4th season. That's all I'm saying. So next week, let's set the table here to get you guys' watch list going here. So it's July 4th, so happy July 4th to everyone there. Enjoy the barbecue and all that. And
burgers and
catch up on the shows. You want to stay home and chill, put on HBO Max, and there you go. Find Warrior on there. But yeah, so let's get into it. So starting on the 3rd, I believe it's Monday. Tomorrow.
That's correct. Yes,
tomorrow. It's Unknown, The Lost Pyramid, a docuseries on Netflix, which they do documentaries, i.e. Muscle and Mayhem. About a pyramid. I guess an unknown pyramid which was discovered. They get into that. It was interesting. I like that kind of stuff, so I'm down for that. On the 5th is a show Back to 15, which when you told me, I was like, I had no idea what show that was, and I'm like, oh, season
that was
2.
a Brazilian show.
It's a Brazilian show, Latino show we're representing, so we're gonna watch. But I enjoyed it. But the first season came on Netflix a couple years ago about a woman, 30-some-old woman who finds a way to, through her computer or whatever the case is, ends up going back to when she's 15. And altering, time, changing things around her. She goes back and forth and figure out what's going on. It's a funny show. I liked it. I don't remember it being great, but season 2, fair enough.
Okay, it was okay.
It's okay. So after you come back from that, on the 6th, we got The Lincoln Lawyer, of course, going back to what we said about Netflix, part 1, right? Part 2 coming out, I think, in the end of July. I assume 5 episodes. I don't know.
We'll see.
Yeah, Lincoln Lawyer. I like this one. It's kind of, obviously it's a courtroom drama, so to speak. Based off the film. We saw a movie in the book, of course, of Matthew McConaughey. But this one I really liked. Again, Latino representation as the main character. Playing.
No, I really liked season 1. It was kind of surprising. We didn't know what to expect, right? You heard about the movie, it's like a show now, okay. But like I said, I mean, if you don't like the title character, you're not gonna like the show. Right?
Course,
if he misses, the show's going down the plains. I mean, he did
really
it.
He's worth watching. It's fun. It's entertaining. I like this one. It moved well. Good surprises. This is one I would say go back and catch season 1. Right? If you like this kind of courtroom dramas kind of thing. But it's more than just that. Don't get me wrong.
Yes.
But yeah, it's actually a very fun one. I'm looking forward to this one a lot. So hopefully I can get to watch this one because it's a lot of stuff that my wife wants to watch, which delays my watching because I would never watch without her.
Okay.
That being said, so and a couple more after that we got on Amazon on the 7th, and that's the horror of Dolores
The
Roach.
Lord.
Right, it's
Yes.
kind of a take on Sweeney Todd. It seems like to me, right? To
Mhm.
some degree, you got this woman who gets out of jail after 16 years and is living under an empanada shop, right? Again, more like this is all Latino. I love this. And I guess with the empanadas, Sweeney Todd, do the math. I'm thinking that's what the show is. Looks interesting on Amazon, so let's see. And then we
What's
got
up?
a movie on Netflix, which we roll the die with those Netflix movies. I don't know what you're gonna get here. This one's called The Outlaws, starring, of course, Pierce Brosnan. I love Pierce Brosnan. I loved him and as what his name was on Black Adam. Of course, Bond and all that. He was great.
Oh, Doctor. Oh,
I forget. Doctor
I
Fate. Doctor
forget.
Fate. There we go.
Yeah. There we go.
We have Adam Levine. Jack Black light, or poor man's a very, 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 very poor man's Jack Black, Adam
Jack Black.
Levine.
Yeah.
And this one, and I forget who the woman was. Either way. So yeah, so this one here we got Levine's character, who apparently is marrying this young girl, has never met her family, and her parents anyway. The parents are Chris Pierce Brosnan, and they are, I guess, thieves, unbeknownst to him, and they kind of use him to go rob a bank and et cetera, et cetera. So I don't know. It's supposed to be a comedy. Whatever,
We'll see.
we'll see. Right? This has meh written all over it, but I'm gonna give it a shot. Maybe like I said, it's some 10% of these movies are really good, right?
It's no Witcher.
It's no Witcher, that's for sure. But we'll check this one out again. That's on Netflix this weekend. So not a lot of stuff, but some interesting stuff in there. So we'll talk about these shows next week. Of course, as always, Chewy, a pleasure. Happy 4th to everyone out there. Enjoy it. Be safe. Get some good hot dogs, burgers, etc. Check us out here every Sunday. Subscribe, like, hit that notification bell. And we'll see you guys next week.
Peace.